I just want you to know, as you can see, it's 12:15. I also want you to know I am so hungry. So I do want you to know I'm being so brief. So,
Yeah. Let us know the truth. That's right.
and what I also appreciate the spirit for is what sometimes comes through with the deepening of the 12 principles. I mean, the 5 principles. And I go that even if I don't say another thing, I have hopefully given you food for that
Oh, yes, absolutely.
and some transform that you can think about and hold in your heart and let it feed you. So there are times where after the 5 principles and the deepening, it's like they don't really need another sermon or talk or message. Just a quick little reminder of the 5th principle. The knowing and understanding all this great stuff is just the beginning. I've got to actually live it. I think I may have told you many years ago, I was a kind of young person who misspent my money. I've always been a giver. If I knew I had my light bill to pay, but before paying it, I overheard someone saying, I don't know what I'm going to do about my financial situation right now. I have lost my job. I don't have any savings. And I really need a couple of $100 to put gasoline in my car so I can pick the kids up at school and get some groceries. I would have no problem. And without hesitation, I would take my utility money and give it to them. And many times I sat in the dark for quite a while. But I sat there feeling like I must also live the truth I know. I became known as an overgiver. I also became known as someone who was always having to pay reconnection fees for my lights or for my phone. I was known as someone who would fast for 3 days, and people would see me as fasting as he's fasting to get closer to the Creator. And they would never know he's fasting because he made sure she could eat. But his fridge is empty. And there were some times where I wouldn't be able to last another day. And so I would let my dad know, Dad, I did it again. I gave away my money and my lights have been off for the last 4 days, but it's getting cold and I need some help. And so he immediately would reconnect my lights for me, or reconnect my phone for me, or pick me up and take me to the grocery store and fill my refrigerator. And it happened like a number of times. And so one time, and my dad would say, Carly, if your cup isn't running over, you can't give everything in that half cup away. God wants you to love your people in your life, but he wants you to love you too. Like when you can keep your lights on and you have extra money to help someone keep their lights on, you do it. And he said, I'm afraid if I keep rescuing you, that you will never learn anything at all about money management. Now, we all love that you're a giver, but you're over the line. And I would hear him and go, yeah, you're right, Daddy. Yeah, I got to get it together. Yeah, I'll get my act together. And so I wouldn't. And I would contact him and he would rescue me. One day, and this is the day I'm talking about where it was getting cold and I had been sitting with no heat. And I called my dad. I said, Daddy, I need your help. I did it again. What? I don't have no lights or electricity or heat. Well, I thought I made it clear last time you called and asked me, but you're on your own. I said, Dad, you got Dad.
Yeah.
Come on. I thought you loved me. This is loving you. I've rescued you. I don't know how many times. But if you don't live your experience, you can't change it. I said, Dad, you're kidding, right? And he went, you're on your own. And then he hung up. And I sat in that dark house. And I had unplugged my appliances already. My light switches were off. I had no power. So I sat in that house for 2 more days, cold and in the dark. On the 3rd day, I ran into my dad at Stop and Shop. How you doing, babe? He says. How do you think I'm doing? I said. You're doing great. Well, would you be doing great? What do you mean would I be doing great? Would you be doing great sitting in a cold, dark house? Are you sitting in a cold, dark house? Yeah, I asked for your help. You told me I'm on my own. Boy, the minute I got off the phone, I went and paid your utility. I had electricity because my dad paid for it. He told me I was on my own, but he knew he could never leave me on my own. For those days, I had power. And all I had to do was walk over to the wall, find the light switch, and click it on. Or go to the thermostat and with a gentle twist, have heat coming in my house. Knowing and understanding the loss of life, even the cute, not enough. You got to also live the truth, you know. The entire power, love, wisdom, joy, health, all good things of God. God is constantly pouring me out blessings from the heights of heaven into my life. And if I don't know it, it's not because it's not happening. If I feel powerless, it's not because I'm without power. If I don't feel God's presence, it's not because it's not there. It's because I just haven't flicked on the switch. Anytime you flick on the switch, the light and the love of God will pour into your heart. When Daddy did that, I said to him, "You little rascal, you little rascal. You hung up on me so you could get in your car and go pay my utility bill. Why did you tell me I was on my own?" And he said, "Because sometimes we feel like we're on our own. But our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be the mighty name. He, she, they, it, all that is, will never, ever leave you on your own. You're a part of God. And God is one self and cannot be divided. Call this great source by whatever name you choose. But as my sister said, you will find God everywhere. I love finding God in sanctuaries. And I love finding God sitting by a brook, crying at the beauty of this world. Marvel at the beauty of the world. Seek, and you will find that it is true that God is everywhere today. Every day. My daddy was being God and demonstrating his God selfness, bestowing blessings on the son he loves. We are loved, and we are lovable, even when we don't think so. God has created us of its own self stuff, and that stuff is spirit. Jesus gives me everything. Everything that I do that's worthwhile. It didn't come from me, it came through me. I give God credit for every good thing. I credit myself for everything that is dysfunction. And what Jesus did the other day, and I shared it with Hope Church and with Divya. He said, "Carlos, I give you this little mantra that I would like you to add to the other daily mantras you practice." And it was, "I'm eternal spirit, living an incarnation of Carlos Wayne Anderson, here but for a dash, here but for a dash, here but to remember I'm eternal spirit, living an incarnation of Carlos Wayne Anderson, here but for a dash, here but for a dash, here but to remember I am eternal spirit, living an incarnation of Carlos Wayne Anderson, Here but for a dash. Here but for a dash. Here but to remember. I am eternal spirit. 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 You are 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 eternal. You are eternal spirit. Living an incarnation. Here but for a dash. Here but for a dash. Here but to remember. Our eternal spirit.